Good afternoon to all, and thank you very much, Mr. Sanjay, for those kind words of introduction. Am I audible at this very moment? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So it is good to be the last presenter also for the day. I have heard all the esteemed speakers before me, and all have been my colleagues in the industry. So it has been really good to listen to all of them. And I must also thank Chemtech, for giving this platform to even in this COVID times to bring us together on this platform where we could, as technologists, share our the technology that is being developed and under development in the industry, right? So as it is a thank you for giving Kansai Nerolac the opportunity to present our new innovations and technology in the session on new generation high performance coatings, right, and the way forward. Now, I know that I am speaking to an audience whom I can see, and all happen to be my colleagues and friends, okay, who require no introduction about Kansai Nerolac. But but beyond, there is an audience which is invisible, 400 numbers that are, as Mr. Sudhanshu mentioned, that there is an audience which is about 400 who may or may not know about Kansai Nerolac. So, okay, so taking, so maybe, as I share my screen, in a minute or two, I will just introduce them to about Kansai and then go to my technology topic. So as
Okay.
let me share my screen. Is my screen visible on the,
Yeah, it is in.
is visible? Yes.
Yeah, it is visible. Can you make it bigger?
Is it now clear?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
So this was the session now which are there, and taking to a brief about Kansai. Kansai Nerolac Paints is a 100-year-old company, having completed its centenary last September 2020. It has come a long history. It is a part of the parent group that is Kansai Paint Japan. For those who do not know Kansai, it's Japan's largest paint company. It's the eighth largest paint company globally. Among the top five global automotive companies, it has presence. It has, yeah, it in various countries across the globe, right? And it has a gross sale of over 3.8 billion USD. This is our parent company, Kansai Paint Japan. Kansai Nerolac Paints has had a very long history, starting, as I said, in 1920 to till 2020. We are completed 100 years, and it has gone through a lot of thing going forward, right? uh, Kansai Nerolac has taken over a new corporate identity, which with the key word being the expression being colors that care. Okay, and with a promise to renew life and of having a purpose to create environments for a healthy and a beautiful future. Kansai Nerolac is expanding into horizons in India and globally through new markets and geographies. Venturing into the field of adhesives, construction chemicals, wood coatings, auto refinishes, and the niche market segments, the floor coatings, the coil coating, the rebar coatings, and the railway coatings. It is also international presence in Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Currently, its core business, Kansai Nerolac Paints, having 6 manufacturing units across the country, has its core business and is a leader in the industrial coatings and automotive coatings, and by far the leader in the powder coatings. So these three segments which I mentioned, the automotive, the general industrial, and the powder coatings, it is by far the industrial leader in the country. It is also aggressively growing in the field of decorative coatings, and uh, going forward, it's also showing its presence, has had an extensive presence over the last 25 to 30 years in the field of high performance coatings. So that was the brief, with which that little brief I take you to the subject which I'm going to speak about, pertaining to the session itself: innovative performance coating solutions for highly corrosive atmospheres. And I like my presenters before me, who have very well put out technologies that are around. And as Mr. Sanjay mentioned, They spoke about technologies that have been around. Yes, and the new slogan that has been the Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is the new slogan, and the Kansai Nerolac paints has been always fulfilling that particular requirements of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So my coating solution which I'm going to present to you is going to be the performance coating solutions for highly corrosive atmospheres. Now, all of us know on the screen that as the high performance sector comprises of the various industries as I presented here: the offshore industry, the onshore industry, the power segment, the wind power specifically, the steel and infrastructure industry, the chemical and fertilizer industries, and the original equipment manufacturers. So these are the vast segments and sectors that we have, to which all of us paint manufacturers have been supplying paints in some way or the other. Now, these sectors, which I call them assets, they are basically made up of the material, different types of materials, and the materials that have been used have been stainless steel, galvanized iron, aluminium, and most commonly used mild steel. Uh, One thing all of us must know is these structures or these assets, since they are exposed to various severe aggressive chemical and climatic conditions, they are undergoing degradation and corrosion every day. And we had my previous speakers who spoke of who are from the who will agree with me that the corrosion has been the number one killer in the country today, and the crores of rupees that have been lost due to corrosion is just mind boggling. We cannot set a figure because it's like a time bomb that is going on ticking, right? And as my key statement, as I put there, rust never sleeps. Friends, you as I'm talking to you, rust is going on. So corrosion is happening everywhere. Any structure that is exposed to the environment is bound to face corrosion. And I have shown you pictures around which have been structures which have been exposed in highly corrosive environment. Now, there are various corrosion prevention methodologies that are available, in the country. Maybe you can alter the environment. Maybe you can use corrosion resistant materials as they use in space exploration. You could also try and use cathodic protection. You could change the design, the overall design of the structure. You could use corrosion inhibitors, and the last way of corrosion methodology is isolating the structure between the substrate and the environment. This is a very simple thing because corrosion, when a metal is exposed to the environment, undergoes corrosion. So how can I prevent corrosion? Is just by isolating the structure, the steel structure from the substrate from the environment, and that is by applying coatings. To those in the audience who a very simple definition that has been defined by ISO is the ISO 4618, which defines paints as a product. It may be in liquid form or in powder form containing pigments, which when applied to a substrate forms an opaque film having protective, decorative, and specific technical properties. In the previous session, we heard about functional coatings, and there where this specific technical properties comes into play. Paint has been designed to work out in different environments for different functions, and that's where the role of functional coatings come into play. So as I mentioned here, the ISO defines paint as first protection, second decoration, and third is the specific properties, right? Now, since we are all from the paint industry, the coating industries who are here on this podium, I would say that asset management can be best done through the use of high performance coatings, protective coatings, and it is an affordable option for delivering cosmetically engaging, durable finishes to a product. Performance protective coatings enhance the performances of surface, and these are resistant to high temperatures, corrosion, and abrasion, some of which the properties we heard by the previous speakers as they spoke about new innovation. Having known the challenges of the industry, Kansai And anticipating various corrosion problems, Kansai Paint Japan, which is Japan's largest paint manufacturer, and Kansai Nerolac Paints, leader in the industrial coatings in India, have long been engaged in the field of research and development for all inquiries in the field of protective coatings. And this afternoon, I am just going to present just two of the developments which which the Kansai has worked into it. Kansai Nerolac in India and Kansai Paints in Japan have worked so that the audience can get a taste of the innovations in technology that is happening across the globe, and how Kansai Nerolac has been responsible for changing the technologies in the country and globally. The first ones, as you know, we all know, in case of projects, there are new projects as well as there are maintenance projects. My first development, I focus on maintenance project because that is the bigger industry where most of the structures which have been erected over the years, long ago, are now facing in the stage of maintenance and are undergoing a severe amount of degradation. So in my first product development, I present to you the product for maintenance project, that is the novel encapsulating primer. And we all know that in a given project stage, in a given any project, infra project, or you name the projects coming across the country, and all of us are reading in the newspapers the numerous projects that are coming across the country. In that, a new project is an ideal stage for surface preparation, application, inspection, monitoring, rectification, and also applying the ideal paint systems. But what happens is that is when everything is the steel structures are at a ground level. But what happens is the actual situation on the shop floor is much different. We all know that the design team takes a lot of the time in designing the structure, and the painting is scheduled only to the last week of the project fabrication, right? Because all of us have on the lay person has a perception that paint is meant only to give color, right? They forget that the important aspect of it is protection, right? And all of us in the industry are our main target and concern is commitment to the commissioning date and the production and setup target that is already fixed at the beginning of the project. So the date of the final date is already fixed, and so come what may, everyone tries to achieve that target date. So the painting has been kept as a last step, but we must know, and I will must tell you, friends, is the most important step in any project. Now, when a structure has been done very haphazardly, you get structures that are erected, and then the first monsoon that comes into the country, because monsoon comes on time, right? It reveals all the mishaps that the project team has done. Okay, the first monsoon reveals and exposes, and we can see this picture which I show you. As it looks as if they are 10 years old structures. But friends, these are pictures from audit taken just after 1.5 year old structures. Because there are some structures which have been erected without painting also. So first, the rains, do not hide all those things. They expose the very thing. And unfortunately, the project team leaves the site and goes away. The baby is handed over to the maintenance team in the plant who have to take care of these structures, right? And they try to use various technologies available with all the paint manufacturers to enhance the life of these structures, right? So maintenance coating has been defined as applying coatings over a substrate that has been already installed in its final environment and has been placed in service. And friends, as I told you, at the project stage, it is very possible to do a thorough surface preparation, a thorough inspection, a thorough paint application. Everything can be done thorough. But in the maintenance stage, it is impossible because the plant is in running condition and you have dust and dirt and everything across. So I've written here there are constraints which are available and can be visible in surface preparation. There are constraints in paint application and there are constraints in inspection. Because from my experience in the industry for the last 34 years, I have never seen a paint inspector who has climbed up the scaffoldings to the third floor or the fourth floor to inspect a DFT. He has relied himself on the poor unskilled laborer who shouts from the top the DFT values, and the inspector records the DFT. This is the my practical observations at all the industries that I have gone across. Okay, so there are challenges when doing maintenance painting. There are challenges when doing surface preparation in paint application and inspection. Now, having seen this, the general recommendations from all paint industry experts have been, like the technologies that have been around, and what are the technologies that have been developed for this improper surface preparation and inadequate surface preparation or inadequate, inspection, are the surface tolerant high solids, epoxies, or mastic coatings. And they have been in the industry ever since the 1980s. Okay, so I remember in the late 1980s that these technologies came into development, the surface tolerant high solid epoxy coating, and they have been the coating, a solution to the problems, whatever reported by the customer, right? But when these coatings work in case of low corrosive atmospheres, but I have dedicated my topic to highly corrosive atmospheres, and my observation has been that these coatings do not perform in highly corrosive atmospheres. Okay, because like in my previous Mr. Miles mentioned, you have the high solids, high build products which have their own limitations and own challenges, right? So these products, while they provide you coatings at 100 to 125 to 150 microns DFT, when they are applied on rusted surfaces, they do not work. Okay, and in my corrosion audits, when I went across the country, visiting plants, the common failures which were observed, during my corrosion audits have been blisters, flaking, and edge corrosion. Okay, the technology, the product was good, but the substrate had deteriorated to such an extent that that product would not perform. But customer is always right, and customer always provides these challenges to the technologist. And being a technologist myself, he posed a challenge. I need a coating that should perform in this condition. Can you give it or not? Was his question to me. Okay, and so based on this, the challenge that he posed to us, we at Kansai Nerolac, went into a detailed study, and when we found out what were the reasons for blisters, what were the reasons for failures, that is the flaking, there are some of the things that the surface tolerant coatings have high viscosity. So when you apply them on highly rusted surfaces, or pitted surfaces, it is difficult for the coating to penetrate to, right? And these just become a superficial coating layer. And it is also because of lack of inspection at heights. Normally, these areas are not seen by the inspector, and therefore we find the problem of flaking. So when you apply a thick coating on a rusted surface, you get air pocket zones, which subsequently, because of the variant in temperatures or outside temperature and the substrate temperature, you get blisters. Okay, so that was the cause for the air coming out as blisters. Secondly, we normally, all paint experts recommend thorough water surface, water cleaning of a rusted surface. Right now, after water washing, thorough drying of the substrate is essential. Otherwise, the moisture gets entrapped in the rust flakes and they cause blisters. And very often, if you see a rusted scale, if you remove out a rusted scale, you can find a tinge of moisture at the the pit of the rust flake, and that has been seen there, right? And moisture also could be because of the heavy laden salty atmosphere, which are hygroscopic, and during the condensation there is a lot of absorption that takes place. So this water was there. So two observations: one, the coating as a surface tolerant epoxy would cover only the superficial covering. It would not penetrate inside. Second, the water which is used for water washing of the substrate remained inside. What could be done was a challenge that we, as at Kansai Nerolac, took up this challenge. And one thing which I always say is that there is many people say nothing can be done about corrosion, but I say that corrosion cannot be prevented, but it can be controlled, right? And the challenge to us was to avoid the dependence on these external elements, as I mentioned, the rough surface and the moisture. And that is where Kansai did extensive in-house tests to come out with a new development, okay, a product that performs under the constraints that I mentioned, and that was the novel encapsulating coating primer. Okay, so now this as a primer I have given you. Now a few features of the primer as I write to you. As I said, the word is encapsulating, and therefore the picture as I showed, this product is able to encapsulate the rust. It is able to encapsulate the rust. It is based on a proprietary molecule chemistry. Okay, now do not ask me the chemistry because I would not disclose in this forum, right? It is a proprietary molecule chemistry having very low viscosity. Now, because of its low viscosity, it has got an excellent penetrating property, and therefore it penetrates the tightly adherent rust, because during surface preparation, all loosely adherent rust is taken out. Okay, now this polymer is moisture compatible. So when it goes and penetrates into the rust, right there, the tinge of moisture that is there, it reacts with the trapped moisture, thus eliminating and completely sealing the surface with a hard coating. It has got excellent surface tolerance, so there is no abrasive surface required. Only St2 grade, is sufficient. It can be applied on manually clean surface. It is a single pack, and therefore there are no problems, because the job has been done by unskilled laborers, so no problems related to part mixing. There are no pot lives issues, no wastage of paint, and can be applied by unskilled painters. I present to you some of the tests that were done extensively in the lab, right? And also on the field, on the big photos that I've shown you. And only after 1.5 years of real exposure did we come out, with this development, right? Now, let me share with you, customers in such highly corrosive atmospheres used to paint their structures every 3 months. Now, here we are able to extend the life to 1.5 years, right? So that was the challenge, and that was what the customer accepted. Even though he has to paint after 1 year or 1.5 years, it was much, much better than painting after every 3 months. So this was a development which, we came into, which was fruitful and went. So now this product, as I mentioned to you, it's a primer. It's a primer coat which takes there. It is recoatable in 2 hours, and it has got good edge coverage properties. It is compatible with edge coatings, and it encapsulates the existing lead-based coatings as well, right? Wherever old structures are still exist. Now, this to get enhanced performance, we developed a two-pack chemical-resistant epoxy over top of it. Okay, not all epoxies are compatible with this primer, and therefore we had to develop that product, which also has which is perfectly compatible with the novel encapsulating coating, okay, resulting in a system that gives excellent rust sealing properties and excellent properties in a highly corrosive atmosphere, right? And this is a system recommendation, which, those of you who are interested, if the DFT, total DFT is around 120 to 220 microns, which is there. So what I can say is the first development, as I mentioned, is a unique novel coating which has been developed to take care of the gaps which we observed during surface preparation and paint application in a highly corrosive atmosphere, right? I am again saying highly corrosive atmosphere. We're going for this. I just take you to our next development, which Kansai in Japan has done extensively work on this, has been the super durable polymer top coat, right? And the picture down there, it's the technology that has been developed for high performance, long life coatings for steel and concrete bridges. The picture is painted, as much, earlier in 1997. I will just take you through this, telling you, because Atmanirbhar Bharat, and this technology today is being manufactured by Kansai Nerolac in India, right? And therefore we can proudly say that this the high-end polymer technology is available in the country. A few features of this product: it's a super durable resin which has the ability to work as a standard coating formulation, and its performance is, lab tests have shown, it's 2 to 3 times higher than a conventional polyurethane coatings. right? Now they can be used with have excellent UV resistance, have excellent corrosion resistance, and they are, when you look at the paint, it's very simple. Now here I'm talking about is the super durable polymer as a top coat, right? Now I just leave you with the technology development that has been done by Japan, and they have painted these structures way back in 1997, 1998. Right? The Akashi States Bridge, the Tatara Bridge, which was painted in 1998-99. Then you have the Tokyo Bay Highway Bridge. Then you have the bridge that was painted, Kurushima Bridge in 1998-99. Okay, the Rainbow Bridge and the Hakucho Bridge. All these bridges, where I'm showing you pictures, are live examples of coatings that have been able to perform, in the highly corrosive atmosphere. Okay, so this super durable polymer has worked in that case. Now, I want to mention to you that these super durable polymer technology coatings have, with 20 plus years of performance life, are now being manufactured in India by Kansai Nerolac paints. Right. So to summarize, this afternoon on this new technologies, I have presented you two technologies. One, the primer, okay, and second, the top coat, right? And the super durable polymer, that is the Nerolac rust encapsulating coating, which is performing as a primer, and second, the top coat, which will be used in new projects, that is the super durable polymer based top coats. Okay, so to conclude, Kansai Paints Japan is a global technology provider, and Kansai Nerolac Paints is the industrial coating leader in the country. It has the entire product basket, including the high-end coating technology, in addition to the two new products that I mentioned to you for highly corrosive atmospheres, one for maintenance and second for new projects. So I can say Kansai Nerolac Paints has been and is now and will be the total solution provider. Thank you.